Whoops, I accidentally, for some reason I'm hitting the mouse occasionally. It's like, I guess it's old age. My hand goes down or whatever. Anyway, I didn't intend to start right now, but I did. So hello. Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. This is March 23rd, 2023, and I'm very happy. Uh, we switched to Verizon service, and we got, they sent us the box, and I put it up, in the window, not in the window, but right next to the window. And the tower is, I can't see it from my window. And, but anyway, it's on the other side of the street down at the corner, right behind the bank or beside the bank, however you want to call it. So I think that we've got a good location for, you know, Verizon's wireless internet service. They have two, a $25 and a $50, and no extra charges, no extra fees, and they guarantee the price for 3 years. They just had a thing where they were offering it where they guaranteed it for 10 years, no price increase for 10 years. And also, I didn't really know anything about, you know, Verizon, the way they work or anything, because just not, haven't been into that. Um, so anyway, I signed up with them and they sent, the box, and I put it up in the window over there. After a while, I got to blinking, and of course the blinking stopped. And then I moved it over there. Now I've had blinking, the light blinking there a few times, but on the other side of this apartment, and I forget how many square feet this apartment is, but it's beyond, it. They said that this covers, you know, that size. But I just went in, and the ex-wife, she has a big screen television, and she watches television actually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She falls asleep. She's handicapped. She got polio when she was 5, before the vaccine. Right, the vaccine came right out after she got polio, and so she used crutches. Well, first she was in the hospital for months. For months she was in the hospital, and then she got out, and then she had braces on her legs, going to school, and all that type of stuff. But she lucked out. She didn't get, in her lungs when she was in the ward there at St. Joseph Hospital when she was like 5 or whatever. She tells this story over and over to people, And there was a boy there, her age and whatever, and he said to her that, we're going to need to get married. And she said, well, why do we need to get married? And he said, well, we got polio, and we're going to need, each other's help or whatever. And of course, he died there in the hospital. Um, but anyway, so she used, when we got married, she was 18, I was 26. We got married, she had to use, at home, she didn't need to use crutches really. She could just walk enough to get over, maybe to the wall or something. So she was okay. But then eventually it got where she had to use, crutches all the time. And now, of course, a few years ago, she got stage 4 cancer or whatever, and she survived it. And she was using crutches then. And when, okay, we were divorced. We were married 12 years. That was a long time. So, but anyway, when she had this cancer, and she, came home, she was brought home by, not a code 3 EMS, but you know, a transport service from whatever. And she when she had her chemo treatments and that kind of stuff, anyway, so she came home and I said, okay, well, you know, stand up and whatever. She said, I can't stand up. And I said, sure you can, because she could stand up when she said, my feet are tingly. And I said, because she was in the hospital long, I said, yeah, they're going to be tingly, I can't stand up, And I said, she said, I'll fall. I said, I'll hold you, you won't fall. And then she said, no, I'll fall. And I called our son, a grown son, over. And I said, Will, he'll hold one side, I'll hold you, won't fall. And she said, no. So she, I said, if you go, to using a wheelchair, the next thing you'll be bed fast, whatever. And she said, no, I need, so she, uses, for years now, she's been using, a wheelchair and whatever. So she watches her big screen television, which she loves. I mean, she loves all these shows that she watches. She falls asleep with the remote control. She does it loud also. And but then she has a computer in the living room. She goes over and she's in her wheelchair and she pulls up there and then she does stuff on the computer. Nothing fancy, but she does that. So she has to have internet service. I guess you'd say I have to have it too. Although I make do with whatever the situation is. I will make do. And I also have this thing of it's not an emergency. This something's not an emergency. It's not. It can be worked around because she thinks everything's an emergency. So anyway, I decided to go with, of course I asked her, we sort of split, I pay more, there's three of us here. And they moved in eventually with me because this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath situation. And so and we've been using not Spectrum, Spectrum? No, what is it? I can't remember. They changed companies. I think they changed companies about 3. They changed their names for whatever. So Verizon, the internet, the cell phone people or whatever, and they do other stuff too. They have, wireless. I've been waiting for wireless to come to this area, and it's 5G. And so they send you the box, and I got the box. It's over there. I guess maybe I can show it to you. Let's see. Okay, see the gray box and the lighter gray on top by the window. Okay, that's the Verizon box, and it has to be, near a window to get the reception. And luckily, the tower is really, I don't know how close you have to be. The signal at the frequency that they use, it has to be close because of penetration and that kind of stuff. These different frequencies. You have to have certain kinds of antennas, whatever. So anyway, I signed up for it. I checked out with, not so much with my son. He lives in another world. My grown son. But checked out with her because she has to have her television, her game. She watches the game shows. She watches repeats of these game shows or whatever. So, and I can totally do away with. I don't watch television. I do watch. We pay for Netflix, all because of her, really. I mean, I could do without. I could do without, but we pay for them. I pay for them. She pays part of it, and my son pays a little bit, not much, and I pay the rest. Enough to leave me broke all the time. But anyway, so we got this, and I've had this for about a week, the Verizon. And they've got some good, they have good deals too. I didn't know that about them. And two, apparently what they do is if you use their services, then you can use other services and you get a big discount or whatever. And also, the experts say that they've gone big into, the wireless. And the problem has been in the beginning, okay, you have to have, like the cable people, they just bring a cable, from a pole or whatever, and they come in, they hook into, all these apartments here, they have the box and whatever. But the wireless, you have to be within certain range. And you could be, your neighbor a block away, he may have, Verizon or one of the other services that, do that. You may go over there and to visit your friend, wow, that's great, and everything. Yeah, that's, whatever. And then you go home, you go a block home, and you call, and you can't get, you can't get it because the frequencies, the higher the frequencies, and so, and two, this everything is here in the United States. It's big business. They bribe uh, the Congress. They give them money. It's bribery. They don't call it bribery. But it's bribery, and it's just, the United States should be like #1 in internet speed. I think we're like number 27 or something in the world. Hong Kong is ahead of us, and Singapore, and all these different places because of the way they do things. Europe, I don't know if all the countries do it over in there, but like in Sweden, my daughter lived in Sweden for quite a few years, and then she came back to the United States after, I don't know, 9 years, 10 years, something like that. But in Sweden and in other places, the city or the county or whatever it's called, they put in the structure. They put in the towers or underground cables or whatever they have to do. They put it in, and then companies can come along and go to the city or the county or whatever it is. I know they don't use counties in maybe county Cork. I'm not sure. But they they come in and then they make a deal with, and there's no bribery, I don't think, involved. Hope not. Well, it depends on the country, I guess. But and everything is worked out, a fair deal. So companies can come in, and there's no money changing hands where they have exclusive. And here in the United States, what they did was, a cable company or somebody comes in and they make a deal, and they have priority for Kansas City, Missouri, or Miami. That company does. And if another company wants to compete, you can't compete there. You can, maybe they will let you put up antennas, but so far as digging underground and running cables in, no, they won't let you do it. So it's been, so we've had and still have, things are improving though because of wireless and things like that. But here in the United States, it's corporate greed The freeze. Huh, okay. I made a video about this like before, I think. Freeze. Anyway, this is on my new $200 old Dell computer that's been refurbished. Maybe later today I will install GitHub. Is that it? Can't even remember what it is. Right now I'm just using the camera software and using the camera app or whatever. So anyway, I think I got off track. So for a week or so, I've been using, the Vorizon over there. I moved it around between these two windows here. This is the end of the building, and the tower is right over there. It's a cell tower, but they rent out. There's a whole bunch of antennas on that thing, and so I've been trying it out, and it's been working. But occasionally I see the light blinking where, it's kind of hard to tell because we still have our cable provider. And what happens is immediately when that happens, it switches over to automatically. But when I cancel, which will be, I guess, here in a couple of days, it depends on the telephone thing I ordered and what's here. I got the box in. I mentioned that the ex-wife will not use a cell phone, can't use a cell phone, doesn't want to learn to use it or whatever. So she has to have her phone. So they got the box for a voice over IP thing. And I've got it now and everything. I haven't hooked it up yet. But I thought today would be a good day to, okay, there, pause there. So I thought, okay, now's the time. And she's at the other end of the apartment, but the apartment is not that big. And according to, Verizon, they cover. So I went in and she switched her big screen TV to, and we put in the Wi-Fi address and then the code, and pop, she's in there now watching. If it would stop now, you would hear it. You would hear her. She loves her TV shows and game shows, and she watches them because we have, I don't know how many. That's another thing, by the way. Of course, now it varies. Verizon, you get free right now. And of course, you get free Paramount. We already pay for Paramount. We will get Paramount. We'll have to cancel the Paramount. And there's a whole bunch of things they throw in. I think we're going to be paying $50 a month. And they take off, Verizon takes off $10 if you click, and they don't have to send you a bill through the mail. And there's a bunch of things like that they do, which I didn't know that they did. Oh, and the big news, I started to tell you that. There's some guys on YouTube that are into all this kind of stuff. They're both, experts. They were talking about Verizon, the good points, the bad points, and all this kind of stuff. the one guy said, well, you know, the tech people and everything are saying that in a few months, you know, Verizon is going to go to 1,000 down in speed. Uh, Instead of now, they sort of guarantee 150 to 300. And they say, and the people that came out here, salespeople, they said, you know, well, with uh, these companies that have, like right now, I pay $100 a month for 1 terabyte down in speed, 20 up or something. And very rarely do I get, you know, sometimes I get 5, 6, 100. But they said with this wireless, it's different than the other have this the variation. With this, it's right around 150 to 300. Anyway, this one guy said that in a few months they're going, and this other guy said no. They both seem like they know what they're talking about. He said it'll be at the end of the year, but he said, it's going to be, like 1,000 down, and they're not going to raise the prices. And so it looks to me like Verizon is doing things the right way. Somebody also, well, I've watched several videos on YouTube, and even people a while back, talking about problems they had, or where they had to move their, receiver and stuff. So the receiver's here, and I've switched her to, wireless from that, and I'm waiting for a scream if let's make a deal, the game show or whatever, and these are even some that she's watched before in the past, years back. But she said, "Oh no, if I understand, if I lose a couple minutes of the show or something, but I'm thinking, oh God, if something happens and she loses, sometimes we lose because of a storm, or they're just doing work, no matter what cable company you have. If you have a cable company, sometimes it just goes off. She goes bananas when it goes off, and I said, and she'll say, call them on the telephone, call them, 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, they usually do these things like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So cross your fingers. If this doesn't work out for her for some reason, please, Verizon or whatever, please don't let me down. I haven't canceled Spectrum. Is it Spectrum? I can't remember. I haven't canceled them yet. And if Verizon lets me down here, they're another freeze, a long freeze. That was a long freeze here. I looked like I was retarded or something. I know you're not supposed to say retarded, but I'm an old man. So I'm surprised nobody has mentioned this naked picture here, painting. I can't remember his name now. Missouri painter, famous. But I mean, he's not Picasso or Rembrandt or somebody like that. But in Missouri, well, in the United States too, his name would be, And I took that picture, before cell phones, with a camera at the museum. Uh, he, he's painted quite a few things in, the Kansas City, Missouri area and things like that. Of course, he's passed away a long time. Can't remember his name. I guess I could do a search, famous Missouri painter, and his name would pop up. Not everybody was crazy about the manner and stuff. But that just reminds me of something else totally out of pops into it. I've been into photography all my life when I was a kid. In grade school. I was into photography. I'm going to have to, what is the name of that? You're here or something. Okay. OBS. When I get done with this, after I upload it, eat some snacks or whatever, I'll install OBS, see if that cuts out the occasionally freezing. I was going to say something that was terribly important. Now I have forgotten it. But if Verizon, I keep thinking this sounds like I'm saying with a H, with a B. Anyway, oh yeah, because that's something that popped in my mind. I never liked taking pictures with a flash. And I always liked, also I liked black and white, which was a mistake. Well, it was more expensive, years ago for color and that type of stuff. So I did not take a lot of color pictures because it just seemed to me it was just not worth it. And I liked the black and white. So I've always hated flash. I do not like flash. And by the way, with my new cell phone, I have not got into, with the Pixel, or not the Pixel, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus X or Note 10 Plus or whatever. Anyway, but anyway, man, I haven't had a chance to really try the camera out, and haven't had a chance to try much out with the cell phone. But I spent 30 years, working hospital security. Also, I worked part-time security, had my own patrol service for a little bit over a year. Armed all that time. I was a reserve police officer, patrolled one night a week, by myself. Well, eventually, towards the end, the city started to hire, one officer, well, first a dispatcher, then an officer on the midnight shift, and so on. But I never had an accidental discharge of my firearm. I never, all types of things like that. Anyway, you may wonder where this is going, and I sort of wonder where it's going to. You ever watch the Darby Girls? Okay, I froze again. You ever watch the Darby Girls? There's the uncle who tells these stories, goes and tells these stories or whatever, and the family is like, oh my God, shut up, don't ask him any questions, whatever. I think I'm sort of like that guy. But when my son came to Texas or whatever, not my son here, my other son, he wanted to get a concealed, carry permit and everything. And so he asked me to go out to the range with him and show him how to shoot, how to load the clips and do that type of stuff. And so I went out there. I took my camera, and I thought for sure that I had it set, because I always have my camera set not to use the flash. I don't want to use the flash. I guess there might have been some occasion when I used the flash, but no. So anyway, we're at the booth where I think you see maybe where this is going. People are shooting. I guess a husband and wife, mom and dad, and a child there. And I forget how old, but a child there with them shooting. And so I wanted to take a picture of my son, shooting. So I took my camera, and of course I didn't have my camera aimed at those people or any other people, but I took a picture of him. And the flash went off, and these people over here, I forget, they didn't say anything, but I mean, I wanted to crawl into a hole. They kind of jumped. They thought that a gun or something had gone off behind them or something like that. They sort of jumped. They didn't say anything, and whatever. But that made me feel really stupid, and I am really stupid, but not about firearm safety or whatever. So for 30 years I was armed, and in 2000 I quit. I quit a little bit before the reserve police officer. And 2000, at the end of 2000, or no, at the beginning of when 2000 came around, I quit the hospital security where I worked for 30 years armed, and got rid of my gun, and haven't had one since. I guess don't tell anybody in Texas. I think they would think that I was a communist, or I don't know what they would think. But they might leave me alone. They might think this guy's retarded, old age or something. Anyway, I guess I better end this, and I guess I'll upload this. And it's 3:30 a.m. in the morning. Did I tell you it was March 23rd of 2023? And I'm going to stop this here, please. Give a thumbs up. I don't know. Do something. Thank you very much for watching.